One of the most often asked questions that we get every month, actually, is how do we start selling our radio station website? And how should I price the ads on our radio station website? Well, today we'll hear from one general manager who has been selling their hyper-local radio station website for years and making a killing with it.
You're listening to Better Radio Websites, the definitive podcast for radio professionals who want their websites to generate more traffic and substantial revenue. Get time-tested techniques, secret tricks, and valuable tools in online content, marketing, analytics, security, social media, and much more. Ready for your radio station to dominate digital in your market? Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites. The podcast wants to help you get more visitors and the most revenue from your radio station website. Before we jump into the episode today, I want to remind you to like and subscribe wherever you are getting this podcast, whether it's in your favorite podcast app or whether you're watching us on our YouTube channel for Better Radio Websites. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get this great content because it helps any podcast to reach more visitors. And we want more broadcasters to get this great content. Speaking of great content, we have a very special guest in the studio today. We got Melissa Boswell Townsend. She is the general manager and co-owner of Boswell Media in Kosciusko, Mississippi. And she's a third-generation broadcaster. Her father, whom we've had on the podcast a few times already, and her grandfather have both sat in the seat that she is sitting in today. And they have a very small market there in Kosciusko, Mississippi. And they have a station there and then another couple stations, a couple towns over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Now, I say all of that to kind of preface what we're going to get into today. Even though they are in small markets, they are pulling in huge numbers with their two websites, breezynews.com and Kicks96news.com. Be sure that you check those out as you listen today. Melissa Boswell Townsend, welcome to Better Radio Websites.
Thank you, Jim. I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So glad to have you. Now, I want to kind of set up your market there because it's important to know because we have a lot of smaller broadcasters that listen to this podcast. And so my hope is that after this conversation, if they're not on board with how they're selling their website, if they're not even selling it at all or something like that, we can get them to that moment that they say, hey, we can do this too.
Yes.
All right. So how long have you been actually there at the radio station? I mean, third generation broadcaster.
So I usually just give people my age because I was born in the radio business, but I have been back full time for 10 years. And I'm third generation ownership and management, but fourth generation to actually work here because my great grandfather worked here as well.
Wow.
And I've got
a
picture of him behind me, standing in one of the studios that are still here. It looks a little different, but the same. So we have 4, and I'm the only female. So maybe I have 4 children, so maybe we'll go on to the 5th generation. We'll see.
There you go. That's great. That's great. Now, I kind of want to set up Kosciusko a little bit and your markets there. I know Kosciusko has about, 14,000 in the city, about 35,000 in the county?
That would be great if we were that big.
Okay. All right. And then
it says was 18,000 in the county. So
really
8,000 in the city. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And the counties around you are basically about the same, right?
Yeah, so our coverage area is about 400,000 people for our company covered.
So very, very small market.
Yes.
All right. And so kind of describe your website there because your radio stations don't have quote unquote radio station websites. You have gone over to like a news model.
Yes. So when you go to our radio station websites, it is local and up to date news. And every day that changes. It could be announcing a championship sports team, a local championship sports team. You're not going to go on our sites and read about our universities like Mississippi State or Ole Miss. You're going to read about your hometown football team, baseball team, softball team. And also we have great relationships with the law enforcement, fire department. And like today I was reading about a house fire that happened yesterday. Or, you might be an accident or a local charity having the charity ball, which is something that we would put on there. So it's all local, relevant to the communities that we serve, and it changes daily. So when that happens, it just drives people every day. If you walk around our town and say, what do you do? What's one of the first things you do when you get to work in the morning? People say, well, I read Breezy News to see what happens.
Right. All right. Fantastic. Now, what kind of numbers are you seeing with your website?
If you combine both websites, we're 3 or 4 million a year. So, I think we hover, well, no, I guess that's more than that. We hover about 700,000 a month combined sites.
All right, 700,000 a month. Now, that's the number that I wanted you to put in perspective.
Yeah.
When the town only has 12 or 15,000 people, and then the county only has 18,000.
So that's both sites combined. But if you're just going to separate Breezy News, which is the Kosciuszko version of that, you're going to be about 450,000 a month.
So every person in the county goes to that website 3 or 4 times a day.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, that's really what it breaks down to, right?
Well, yeah, but when you pull up our Google Analytics and you look at who's looking at Breezy News, like the real time, how you can the map of the world. It's a real time map. The state of Mississippi is covered with people all over the world, because you're looking at people that are maybe in the military or offshore, or even we have dear friends in Europe, and they pull up Breezy News and read it just to see what's going on in our community. And
wow.
it is pretty wild to see the real time in how many different places in the world, not just in the United States, but in the world, are reading it. And it's a very trusted news source. So I laugh and tell all my television friends that they get all their best stuff off Breezy News, because they're always calling and asking, can we use your story?
That's great.
Yeah.
See, now, and so now I know that some radio stations, they want to try to cover all the bases. They put their national news and they import this national sports and all this kind of other stuff. And you say, no, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Because there's a million platforms you can get all that stuff on. And people always ask me, well, how does it work? And I said, well, because this is the only platform you can get this information on. And, if the Cubs win the World Series, you can find that out anywhere. Why would people go to my website for information they can get anywhere? They go to my website for information they can't get anywhere else. And I hear this so many times just in the communities. Well, we saw this on Facebook. We went to Breezy News to see what the real truth was.
Wow.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Huh.
It's just, and we have people dedicated to make this every day. I mean, so we have people every day that's their main job, is to get this information on, get it right. And it does help that we put like mugshots and their arrest reports on there. That really does drive traffic. And
is that one of the major content items that you have?
if you look on the top, like our top 10 stories, it's usually what it is. But like yesterday, I posted a story about our hospital getting a new CEO. I posted that story, and 10 minutes later, I had a meeting. In 10 minutes later, I had a meeting with somebody. And they walked in and said, I just read that we're getting a new CEO at the hospital. And I said, where'd you find that? She's like, well, Breezy News, of course. That's where I get all my information.
Yeah. Wow. That is just so cool.
Yeah.
And now we've established that you're a small entity there. How many folks do you have actually putting content on the website?
So we only have 6 full-time staff, but we have some part-time people that, like our one of our main news guys, he puts content on, and his stuff that he puts on is more of a statewide stuff, but he always relates it back to this community or other communities that we serve. So probably on a day-to-day basis, it's about 3 people that are contributing. But then, like yesterday, I did that random story about the new CEO, but I'm not a daily contributor.
Okay, I got you. So you did. So everybody kind of does what they can. If they hear something or know something, they put it on the website?
Yeah, so everybody pretty much can log in, has to log in, put it on there. If something happens over the weekend, we can do it from our phones. But it's just get it up there, get it up there, get it up there as quick as you possibly can.
Sure.
Especially if something major is happening.
Yeah. Have you noticed some parts of the year are more busier than others as far as traffic?
So I love to tell people this. If a snow is even remotely predicted, you want your ad on Breezy News because it is going to go nuts. And so anytime in the winter, if there's winter weather coming in, we live in Mississippi, so that's very not common. It's nothing to look at, like if you have a winter weather and you got 40,000 views on it within 8 hours or something.
Do you sell your website separately or with ads, or with the on air? Mm-hmm. How do you sell the website? Is it a package deal or separately?
It's separately.
Separately. Okay.
If it's a annual customer that spends X amount of dollars, they might get a discount. And a lot of times, because we also have digital billboard as well. So a lot of times if you combined our products, we'll give you a discount, but you still are paying for them individually. So you're not.
I see.
Like, we don't bonus digital because I don't have enough inventory I'm sold out of inventory on my digital product. So we can't bonus it.
Yeah, we tell folks to never bonus the website because that immediately devalues.
Oh yeah, if bonus to broadcasters, you have to be so careful on what you're bonusing. Like bonus overnights, don't bonus your 6 A's and 7 P's, and especially don't, because once people get it, they no longer have value. I don't care if you bonus a web banner for, say, a sale on shoes this weekend at ABC Shoe Company, and they sell out of shoes. They're not going to still have that value that web banner really did because they didn't pay for it.
That's right.
It's like I tell my children, raising them, even if you want to do something for free, charge them a little something because they're going to value it more because they have put something. My dad had taught me, you always got to make them have skin in the game.
That's right.
That's what I look at like that.
Now, how do you, whenever you go out and you sell the website, do you have folks that are kind of hesitant to buy the website because they're hearing, oh, well, you need to advertise on Google, need to advertise on Facebook, and because these platforms are everywhere, why would I want to advertise just in your town? Do you have those folks?
Not in this market. Not
okay.
Market. So our website, we have been doing this for 23 years. We started this in 2000. And so for 23 years, it is so trusted and so known in our market that I don't really have that problem. Now, in my other markets, a little bit, but they can't compete with what they're getting. And our click-through rate, I put an ad up the other day. So the national average click-through rate is 0.35%. And I put an ad up the other day, and it was 2% click-through. So 0.35 is national average. That's what Google's getting. That's what Facebook's getting. And I put an ad. It was an ad for a private school. And I was blown away. And they had never bought Breezy News before. And I went and we proposed it, and they bought it. And I was blown away with the traffic. And that's my job. My job is to take them from Breezy News to their site. And so, what is those, like 4 or 5, no, more than that, 6 times the national average in Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
See, and that's just amazing. That is just amazing. So do you sell it cost per click or cost per 100, or do you sell the CPM or CPC, or do you just sell it like you do your ads and they're just on there for a schedule?
Yeah, I just kind of sell it like I do an ads. So I sell it based on where you are on the site. So of course you got your top leaderboard, then you got the ads in the center between the stories, and then you have rolling sides, and then you have selling our obituary page. That's a whole nother thing. But so,
Okay, we need to circle back to
yeah,
that.
well, yeah, remind me. So I sell it to where you are. Of course, the top leaderboard, you're going to get the most impressions for that because that's the first thing everybody's going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a community college that buys it like annually. If even they're paying me every month, whether they're on it or not on it, just to ensure that they have it when they need it. And so I sell it by the week, and of course, you buy it by the week, it's more expensive than if you buy it by the month. So it kind of depends on where you are on that.
Okay, all right, and the obituaries, I guess that is a very popular place to advertise.
Yes. So when you pull up my site, of course, you see all this the main news, and then you can click on the obituaries. Obituaries is the most viewed page on our site, and so all the funeral homes advertise on it. The florist, if you want to, oh man, I can't believe so and so died. I need to send some flowers. Click right there and send the flowers.
That's right. All right. So the big question is, how do you determine the pricing of your ads? Because I get this question 2 or 3 times a month. And I was like, look, it depends on the market. It depends on how much content that you put on your website. All of these factors come into play, but you are killing it with the content. You have the visitors. How do you determine the pricing?
So I kind of determine the pricing based off of our market. Like what are people spending in a newspaper? So basically, you take Breezy News. So we don't have a local paper. I mean, we do have a local paper. We don't have a daily paper. So that's what this is,
right?
And but it reflects everything we're doing on radio too. So, what are people used to spending, if you will, and we really don't do it by the thousand, but if I kind of just figured it up, it'd probably be about $4.50 to $5 a thousand. But that's our market in a small town. If this was in Jackson, Mississippi, it'd be a whole nother ball of wax. But I kind of price it based on what I know that my advertisers can and will spend, and still get the value there.
Sure.
If it's not bringing them value, that's not the kind of business I'm in. I'm in a business to bring everybody value. So that's how I price it, based on where you are on the site and, comparable to my market.
So how often do you review that or adjust that?
I adjust it based on impressions. So when I see that our impressions have really gone up, I adjust it there. Speaking of elections, when we cover like local elections, and this one's going to be huge in August, election years, I love it. I've been covering local elections since I was 16, and I see it in the circuit clerk's office. As soon as the numbers come up, I go into my admin and I'm putting them up. So like it's either you're listening to me on the radio, or you're watching Breezy News. So that day, if you want to advertise on Breezy News, it's going to be way more expensive than if you're because I will take all my other regular clients down in order to I will just sell that day.
Okay.
And they'll probably be up for the day of the election and after the election, because people will wake up and look and see.
Sure.
So it's kind of based on that as well.
Okay. All right. And looking at your websites, I've asked your dad this a bunch of times on camera, off camera, on microphone, off microphone. Have you had anybody come to your website and then come back and tell you that you have too many ads on it?
No. And I'm not.
No.
Do you like that answer? Because I think we've had this discussion like recently.
Yeah.
And, what I have heard before is people actually look at the ads as part of the news, because we try not to make them stale. We try to make the ads like they're telling somebody something about this business.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Now, when I hang up from you, I'm going to have to go review and make sure all these ads look like that. Yeah. We don't like it to become wallpaper.
Right.
And when it does, it doesn't work for the customer anymore. So
Right.
I've never had that.
And that's amazing because your site goes against all conventional teachings, best practices across the board on you don't want to overpower. But if you look at your website, you have just as much content. Your content items are just as big as the ads.
Right.
And it works.
It works. And then, and then we take, like, for special things, we'll put an ad like under our weather widget.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not normally there. So if an ad's under there, people are like, oh, what's going on? I say it's for special things. Really, it's because I need more space.
Wow.
But yeah, like if we're having like a concert coming in, you want to click here to get a concert ticket, we might put it under the weather widget so it looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Or we've sold takeovers to where, you know, a company can buy so the whole background is just their logo that day. We don't do that very often because I don't really care for the way it looks, but we have done it and it works.
Sure, absolutely. And so I know you're busy. I don't want to take up much more of your time, but what do you tell those broadcasters out there that have not gotten on board with this and started devoting resources to their website? I mean, it sounds to me that you guys it would be a huge hit if your websites just were not on the table anymore. So,
yes, and they're like our, you know, our right hand. I mean, they're great. We love it. But and I have asked this question all the time too. And I was actually in Vegas. This was several years ago, and I was at an RAB convention, and we had to talk about what's unique about our station. And I just said, well, I was kind of a little, you know, I was the person from the smallest market, so I was a little hesitant. And I was younger and not really as sure of myself. And I said, well, we got this website, and this, da-da-da. And the guy said, you got ads on that site. And like the whole conference stopped, and they were just like hounding me with all these questions, like, And that's really when I realized that we were doing something different and something that intrigued others. So what I tell people is people don't need to go to your radio station website to see what your jock looks like anymore. Because there's social media. And with social media, those jocks are not only showing what they look like, but what they had for dinner and what the next up on the playlist. And so that's what a lot of sites go to. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I just pulled up some random radio station website, and that's what the site was about. It was about what music they played, what their format was, and what their jocks looked like. And that's not relevant anymore.
Sure.
Is the content on your site relevant? Is the content on your site something that people want to know today, tomorrow, or this weekend? And if it's not, there's no reason for somebody to go there. If your radio station's website is just shows your staff, your format, maybe a rate card, don't ever do that though. And there's no reason for anybody ever to go back there. What's unique about our sites is that we bring people there day in, day out, consistently, and multiple times a day. Because I might have a story up right now, but what if something major happens and I'm going to put another story up? We don't post all of our stories at one time. They go out throughout the day.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a perfect strategy because not everything is there when somebody goes there first thing in the morning. They have to come back throughout the day. They have to revisit, just like programming a radio station.
Yes. I mean, you don't say the docs aren't talking about the same thing all day long. You're not playing the same song all day long. And if you look at what you're doing on your radio station, why do people tune in? That's your website. You're doing it. You're telling people information that they want to know. And that's why radio. And why do people, who listens to radio? Why do people still listen to radio? I get it all the time. It's because we're providing a platform of information. It's not entertainment. It's not just the information that you can't get anywhere else.
That's
Unless you're at the football field or the baseball field and somebody is texting you the score, you can't get it anywhere else but tuning into the radio or looking on the website.
Yeah. Do you see Boswell Media eventually doing other online things like providing websites and SEO and that sort of thing?
That is not in the immediate future, put it that way.
Sure.
That I'm working on as right now. But every day I want it to be better and better and better. And and I'll tell you another thing, putting people's kids on the website, if somebody wins a spelling bee, or if, who's the balancel of the local high school, all of that stuff is just, just pertinent, just sends people there.
Yeah. Being hyper local.
Yes. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And we are, and with all the markets that we serve, and we do a lot of other things. I mean, we're not just like, we do a lot of bigger stuff, but we always bring it back to right here.
That's a perfect way to end this. Everything that you do out there comes back to the website so you can make money with it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Melissa, thank you so much for...
And he gets messages from us all the time. Okay, I'm trying to do this, but how can I do it? And can somebody just click on the website and text people? And we have all that fun stuff.
Yes. It is fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun to do. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate your time and insight. And I hope somebody, gets from this that, hey, even it doesn't matter what size market you are. If you're in a small micro market like Kosciuszko, Mississippi, you can be making money with your website.
Yes. And, if you want to talk to me, I'd love to. You can reach out to Jim and he can give you my contact information.
It's so awesome having Melissa on the podcast today. And so wrapping up today, if you want to start selling and making revenue from your radio station website, the very, very first thing that you have to do is to adjust your mindset and put your station website as a huge priority. We tell radio stations to view the station website as another radio station that is simulcasting everything that your radio station is doing. That's one way to start. And that wheel of one promoting the other all the time. So the website promotes to listen to the radio, and the radio promotes go to the website. And so keep that thing, that wheel turning. Never send folks to Facebook where they can get sucked in and stay there, away from your content and away from your radio station. The next thing to do is be creating content on a regular basis. Melissa is in a very small market. Everybody there is tasked with putting something on the station website whenever they hear that it's happening. The garage sales, a light out at a certain intersection, everything can be a news story. It doesn't have to be long paragraphs, multi-pages of content. Just create things that are local to your area, things that folks cannot get anywhere else. And if it's on Facebook, copy it, put it on your station website, and then promote that going to the website, because that is going to be generating numbers that you can go out and sell. Then make sure that your sellers and have a digital inventory list. Let them know of all the available possibilities on your station website that are available to sell. And be sure that your content providers, other people at the radio station that are not exactly selling, be sure that they know what kind of numbers that they need to be hitting, what kind of content works better, and let them produce more of that content. Make sure that everybody knows the stats so that everybody is on the same page. All right. This has been an amazing interview, an amazing podcast today. I hope it provides value to you. If it does, be sure that you share this out with radio colleagues, you like and subscribe and all of those fun things, because it helps this podcast grow. And if you need help with your radio station website, that's what we're here for. Reach out to us at skyrocketradio.com. Have an awesome week making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Remember to subscribe, leave a rating or comment, and share this episode with your team and radio colleagues. For show notes, archived episodes, and more free resources, visit betterradiowebsites.com. Need help starting or making your radio website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.